वेरी नाइस. दे हैव वीक फेथ, कोमल श्रद्धा एंड इनकम्प्लीट नॉलेज. अपर्याप्त ज्ञान होता है उनका, पूरा नहीं. ठीक है. व्हाट आर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ मध्यम अधिकारी? वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मध्यम अधिकारी. यस प्रभु जी, पीछे.
मध्यम अधिकारी जो होते हैं वो भगवान में की अर्चा भी, सेवा भी करते हैं, भगवान में पूरी श्रद्धा भी रखते हैं, लेकिन उनके पास ज्ञान पूर्ण नहीं होता.
ओके, ठीक है. तो खास करके मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि वो किस प्रकार का बर्ताव करते हैं 4 प्रकार के लोगों के साथ, ये बताइए. हाँ, याद है आपको? मध्यम अधिकारी 4 प्रकार की श्रेणियां देखते हैं और 4 श्रेणियों के प्रति 4 अलग प्रकार से बर्ताव होता है उनका.
वो जो है करके भगवान की सेवा भी करते हैं, भक्त लोग के साथ में मित्रता भी रखते हैं और किसी मासूम पे दया भी करते हैं, लेकिन अश्रद्धालु व्यक्ति से वो दूरी बना के रखते हैं. जैसे ईर्ष्यालु, हम उनसे दूरी.
अश्रद्धालु के ईर्ष्यालु व्यक्ति से. देखो, अश्रद्धालु व्यक्ति तो ये हो गया ना, मासूम हो गया, या फिर आप कह सकते हो अज्ञानी हो गया. ईर्ष्यालु, उससे क्या करते हैं? बहुत अच्छे. यस. सो दे हैव ऑल्सो अनशेकेबल फेथ. दे हैव अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग अनशेकेबल फेथ इन सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, but their knowledge is not the complete. All right. Finally, what is the characteristic of Uttam Adhikari? Yes, Siraj.
Unflinching faith and their knowledge is complete.
Yes, they have unflinching faith and the knowledge is also complete. Why does a preacher have to come to Madhyam Adhikari level? Why can't he be at Uttam Adhikari level and preach? Huh? Yes, bro.
He cannot discriminate.
So?
He treats everybody equally. So he cannot preach.
Yes. If you are treating everyone equally, why will you not be able to preach? In fact, that's the quality of preacher. No, he should treat everyone equally. What exactly is the thing? Why Uttam Adhikari is now not able to, so to say, preach, or rather he should come on the Madhyam Adhikari level? You don't speak like this, just one statement, discrimination. What is that? You have to explain. Speak it, Prabhu. Speak it. Discrimination. What do I understand by that word? Yes. Further, what discriminate? I should discriminate something. You should discriminate. What exactly? You have to speak in detail. Yes.
Because everyone's understanding level is different.
So?
Like it matters upon the audience, like on whom is he giving the pravachan, and according to that he gives the comment.
Not really. Not really. Yes, bro.
So, Prabhu,
Uttam Adhikari.
the reason Uttam Adhikari is coming down to the level of Madhyam Adhikari because he is very merciful. He is very merciful and he would like to definitely deliver the jivas, because that is one of the...
I agree. My question is, why can't he be on Uttama level and deliver people?
Because when he sees all the jivas in the same direction, he won't be able to discriminate the difference.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and equity. So that
Exactly. So that's the issue. If you look at all the jivas and you see an ant and also say that she is better devotee than me, atheist also you see equally, and you see a great devotee also. You see everybody as servant of Krishna except yourself. So how will such a person preach, right? For preaching, you have to see that, okay, this is person lacking Krishna conscious knowledge, and that is the person who has Krishna conscious knowledge. This is envious, this is not envious. So that kind of discrimination is not there in Uttam Adhikari. Not there means he is the wisest man, but because his Krishna consciousness is so overflooding, so his vision becomes completely Krishna conscious. Everywhere he just sees Krishna conscious. So that's why he has to come on the Madhyam Adhikari platform, and that's on that platform then we see that he can preach. So that was our very important discussion. So at least as a devotee of the Lord, we should strive to come on Madhyam Adhikari platform. Because Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari both recognize that everyone is spirit soul, servant of Krishna, the Lord is everywhere, and that's why they see, in proper perspective, they see in that proper connection like that. So that was a very important point. And then we also talked about in mantra 8 all these wonderful characteristics like akayam and also shukram. So I would just ask this last characteristic, which is shuddham and apapa viddham. Can somebody explain these qualities of antiseptic and prophylactic when it comes to Supreme Lord? Antiseptic, prophylactic, what does that mean? Prabhupada uses those terms.
Yes, so Shuddham is antiseptic. That means that the disease of materialistic desires and all, it goes away with the Nam Sankirtan and knowing the Krishna consciousness and even this proprietorship of the Lordship. When this concept is clear, the Shuddham quality increases, like the disease goes.
No. Shuddham qualities of whom? When
the Jiva of.
No, this is not Jiva's quality, no. Shuddham, when we say akayam, avranam, shuddham, that is referring to whom?
Lord.
That's referring to Lord actually.
Yeah.
So when we say Lord is shuddham, so then you can explain. What does that mean?
So that means that this quality of Lordship is that his quality is that the disease, when we know about him, the disease of this materialistic desire and all this goes away.
Yeah.
And the apapavidham, this is prophylactic quality of the Lord that does not come when we are into Krishna consciousness and we know the philosophy of the proprietorship of the Lord, that this disease does not come again. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's the prophylactic attitude
Okay.
or face of the Lord.
Yeah. So prophylactic and also antiseptic. These qualities, yes. Antiseptic means that once we come in touch with the Lord, whatever is our infection, that will go away. It will get cured. COVID. Yeah. And then prophylactic means no more further, infections would occur. Chavanprash, right? It would be a very nice protective covering on us. It's preventive. Accept Krishna consciousness, then we start becoming immune to. So all right, so now we come to this section now, mantra 9 to 12 and this mantra 9 to 11. And now this talks about, we were talking about knowing the Supreme Lord, right? Knowing Ishvara. So now this speaks about, what is true knowledge and what is false knowledge. Or you could say what is absolute knowledge and what is relative knowledge. Who is the Ishvara? That was discussed. And how to know the Ishvara was discussed. So now it is being discussed, what is that knowledge or what is the effect of that knowledge? Relative knowledge, what is relative knowledge, what is absolute knowledge? And this is what is the topic now in next 3 verses. So you can see here, this is it, verses 9 to 14, the absolute and the relative. So 9 to 11, they talk about Vidya and Avidya, which is absolute knowledge and relative knowledge. And verses 12 to 14, they talk about especially the absolute process and the relative process, worship. What is the process of worshipping the absolute, or rather what is the absolute process of worshipping the Lord and what is the relative process of worshipping the Lord. You can also say right and wrong, simple. This is basically telling you right knowledge and wrong knowledge, or right process and wrong process. So this is the section that is talking about process, not the prior section. Prior section was talking about how to know that Ishvara, who is the Ishvara, what is the way to know him, like that, in this way. Now this particular section tells what is the absolute knowledge, what is the relative knowledge. So now you see, this section is very interesting section. So now you will see in this section, this word Vidya and Avidya, it has been used in a very interesting way. Like you see, this is mantra 9. So let's recite and then discuss. This is mantra 9 together. अंधम तमा प्रविशन्ति ये विद्याम उपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य उ विद्यायां रता अंधम तमा प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य उ विद्यायां रताः. Okay, read the translation.
Those who engage in the culture of nascent activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge.
Yeah. So now, note the words vidya and avidya. This word is going to come in 3 different verses. 9th verse, 10th verse and 11th verse. These 2 words will come. Vidya, avidya. True knowledge, false knowledge. But it is very interestingly used. This verse is saying those who are in ignorance or those who are into culture of avidya, culture of nations, culture of avidya, false knowledge, they will enter the darkest regions. And those who are in knowledge, they will enter even further darkness. ये क्या बात हुई? You are understanding? What is the anomaly here? Those who, you see, अंधम तमः प्रविशन्ति, बड़े अंधकार रूपी तमस में प्रवेश करते हैं, ये अविद्या उपासते, जो अविद्या की उपासना करते हैं, तो भूय, उससे भी ज्यादा अंधकार में प्रवेश करते हैं जो विद्या की उपासना करते हैं. It looks like some sort of what is going on here, right? So as if this much bewilderment was not enough, so the next verse says something else. Now you see, what does the next verse say? So this is text 10. Anya devahur vidyaya anyadahura vidyaya iti shushrumadhiranam yenastadvichachakshire. Anya devahura vidyaya anyadahura vidyaya iti shushrumadhiranam yenastadvichachakshire. Yes, please read.
The wise has explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of science.
Yeah. You see, this verse is saying, if you cultivate vidya, then you will get one result. And if you cultivate avidya, you will get another result. Prior verse said, if you cultivate avidya, you will go to darkness. If you cultivate vidya, you will go to greater darkness. So, darkness and greater darkness, it is one result only. It is just degree. So, why is this verse saying that one result is achieved by vidya and another result achieved by avidya? पिछले श्लोक में तो आपने कुछ और ही बोला. The last verse said that, those who cultivate knowledge or rather ignorance, they go to darkness. And those who cultivate knowledge, they go to further darkness. So, both are going to darkness. But this verse is saying both are not going to darkness. One is achieving one result, another is achieving another result. So now come next verse. Just see now. See, that is why Upanishad is notorious for, bewildering people. Mantra 11. Now you see. Vidyam cha yas tadvedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrutyum tirtva vidyaya mritam ashnute. Vidyam cha yas tadvedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrutyum tirtva vidyaya mritam ashnute. Please read.
Only one who can learn the process of science and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of
repeated birth and death, and enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
Yeah, now you see, interesting. This verse says, Vidyam cha yah tad vedo ubhayam saha. One who knows Vidya and Avidya simultaneously. Huh? So now one is being told to know Vidya and Avidya both. One who knows Vidya and Avidya simultaneously, so what does he do? He crosses the death by Avidya and achieves immortality by Vidya. He crosses the death by Avidya. So Avidya is doing good task or bad task? It is doing a good job, right? Because he is crossing the death by Avidya. And Vidyaya Amrutam Ashnute, and Vidyaya, by Vidya he is achieving immortality. Is she doing the good job or bad job? Achieving immortality is good job. So both are doing good job. So what you said in the last verse, one result is achieved by Vidya, another result by Avidya. Is it not getting violated?
All three are contradicting.
All three are contradicting each other. This is Upanishad. That's why when Jnanis read this, they become, oh, you have some resolution of contradiction.
So Prabhu, is here Vidya what they are quoting, is it the Mayavad Vidya?
So that's the nice question. So Prabhu, is it happening that in all three verses Vidya Avidya means something different?
Yeah.
Haribo, that's the key. In all three verses, Vidya and Avidya have a different meaning. So there is text and there is context. Okay? You can't go by only text. You have to also know the context. If you just go by text, then you see thorough bewilderment. Because Vidya, 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 Vidya. And then you think, hey, this Upanishad is very bewildering. I don't want to study it. But there is a context in all three verses. And context matters so much. If you don't know context, then arth ka anarth ho jayega. See, Mahabharata has something called as Kuta Shloka. Kuta Shloka are the verses which Vyasadeva deliberately spoke so as to take some break while speaking Mahabharata. Because when Mahabharata was to be written, Ganeshji was chosen as the scribe. And Ganeshji put a condition. He said, I am okay to become a scribe, but you cannot stop dictation even for a second. You have to continuously speak. You can't stop like he is Ganesha, right? So it's not like, okay, for today 2-hour job, tomorrow, non-stop you have to speak. So Vyasadeva also put condition on him. Okay, I will speak non-stop, but you cannot write anything without understanding. You have to understand everything fully and then only you will write. Okay? So he said, yes, no problem. So they began. So now Ganesha is a superb, right? What is Ganesha? Is he's one of the greatest devatas, but to speak of him. So he started writing, so quickly. So then Vyasadeva got tired actually while speaking Mahabharata verse. So he decided, I will speak some Kuta Shlokas, which are extremely, enigmatic verses, difficult verses, and Ganeshji will take some time to understand them, and that much will be my break. Ganeshji will not write without understanding them. So one of the Kuta Shlokas is this. Keshavam patitam drishtva Pandavaha harsha nirbharaha Rudanti kauravaha sarve ha ha Keshava Keshava. Keshavam patitam drishtva, the meaning of the verse. Seeing that Lord Keshava had fallen in the water, Pandavaha harsha vibhora. Pandavas became jubilant. Seeing Krishna has fallen in water, Pandavas became jubilant. Kauravaha rudanti sarve. And all the Kauravas started crying. Ha ha Keshava Keshava. Alas, alas, Keshava has fallen into the water. Isn't it enigmatic? if Keshava is falling in the water, why are Pandavas becoming happy? And Kauravas are crying. इतने अच्छे भक्त कब बन गए वो? कौरव तो आप सबको पता ही है उनका लेखा जोखा. How did they become such that they are crying, saying ha ha Keshav Keshav alas alas, like that? So when Ganesha heard, he took a pause. Because Ganesha is deciphering the meaning of that, and then he understood. Oh, okay. And then he wrote, okay, Keshavam Patitam Drishta. Is that my phone? No. Okay. So there is a context, and there is a text. So he understood. Oh, okay. Vyasdev here is speaking about a moral story here, where Keshavam Patitam Drishtva. Ka in Sanskrit means water. Shava means a dead body. Keshavam Patitam Drishtva. Seeing that a dead body fell into the water. Nothing to do with Lord Keshava here. Seeing that a dead body fell into the water, Keshavam Patitam Drishtva, Pandavaha Harsha Vibhovaraha. Pandavas, because the fishes are white, so they are known as Pandavas. So the fishes became ecstatic because the dead body has fallen into water. Now they can eat that dead body. Pandava means fish, Matsya. And Kaurava is another name for the crow. Because the dead body fell into water, so now the crows, can they eat that dead body? They can't eat. So Rudanti Kaurava Sarve. So they all started crying. They started all crying, saying, ha ha, Keshava, Keshava. Alas, alas, dead body fell into water, man. Why it fell in water? It should have been here, like that. So he said, he figured out, and then he wrote it down. So you see, text and context. So if you don't know context, you can do disaster with Shastra. Your interpretation. And this is what the Indologists have done to our scriptures. Without knowing the context, Indologists, these people who came from Western world and they interpreted our Sanskrit scriptures and said that it is mythology and all that stuff. So, without knowing context, without knowing anything, crazy like that. Like, you understand any text, there is some context there. Like in Vedas, it is mentioned Ajena Yashtavyam. Ajena Yashtavyam. Aj ke द्वारा यज्ञ करना चाहिए. तो अभी अज क्या है? Aj. तो अज can mean ajwain, which means the grains. You use the grains for yajna, right? Or aja can mean bakra, goat. Like that. So one of the very popular Indologist, he gave the meaning aja as goat. So he said, whenever you have yajna, you should tie a goat around there. This was his interpretation. You tie a goat around there, and like that. So because he interpreted like that, some of his followers, whenever they would perform that yajna, he became a leader of Vedic scriptures. So they would tie a goat like that. While that aja was referring to actually grains. It was referring to aja as in ajwain, as I said, grains like that. So what I want to say is, if you don't know context, you can see how you can misinterpret, and it will be completely disastrous meaning that way. So that's why Shastra needs to be studied in tradition, into sampradaya, into proper disciplic succession. It's not a matter of just learning some Sanskrit and learning some Nyaya or something and then embarking upon the interpretation of Shastra. No, that's the greatest disservice it can happen. We have to study through tradition, hear through tradition, like that. So here also, in order to understand these verses, you see Vidya, 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 how they are speaking. So there is different meaning actually of Vidya and Avidya in these verses. in all three of them, it's a different meaning. So let's see what is the meaning. So why Upanishads are so difficult to understand? You see, verse number 9, 10 and 11, these three verses we saw, avidya and vidya. What is the meaning of avidya in first verse? Please read, someone can read.
Ignorance and ignorant pursuit of supreme
Sense
goal.
gratification. SG stands for sense gratification. Sorry. Yeah. Ignorance and ignorant pursuit of sense gratification. And what is vidya? Yes, Prabhu, read yourself.
Knowledge that promotes and pursues sense gratification.
Yeah. So you see, avidya is what takes one to darkness. Ignorance takes you to darkness. But if you are knowledgeable, but if that knowledge is all about pursuing sense gratification, one may be knowledgeable in some way, but if the knowledge is completely about pursuing sense gratification, then in fact it is like it will take you further in darkness, because you are thinking you are knowledgeable, but you are not. You are actually propagating ignorance. Like simple example, if somebody is a thief, and somebody, he's a thief and he accepts that he is a thief, and another guy who is a thief but he says I am a policeman, who is more deadly? Who is deadly? Thief saying himself that I am thief, or thief who says that I am policeman actually, and he is behaving like he is a policeman. So he is a very risky guy, right? Very dangerous. Why? Because he is going to cheat people. He is basically masquerading as he is a policeman. So that can be a very risky affair, because nobody will understand him. Just Prabhupada gives nice example. Prabhupada says a cobra with money on his hood is deadly, or a cobra without money is deadly. What do you say? Cobra with money is deadly, or cobra without money is deadly? Why? With the jewel, why it is deadly? Haribol. Jewel will attract everyone. बाकी तो सिर्फ कोबरा है, तो आदमी डर जाएगा. Oh, cobra, my God, I have to be away. But if cobra has money, person will feel, if somehow or other I can get that money, so he will try to get in vicinity of cobra and all, and then deadly cobra can bite, right? So the so-called knowledge, where the knowledge is actually atheistic, it's not real knowledge, but one is posing himself, passing himself as somebody very, very great person, and these are the enlightened people, right? Outside world, today's day and time, it's like that, no? The devotees of the Lord, those who are practicing Shastra, people see as these are backward people. These are people probably who could not do much in life and all. And when they see materialistic people, how they want to portray is, we are the forward people, we are the sophisticated ones. India had been subjugated because of all these Vedas for so many years. Here we are now making you sophisticated. That's how even the Britishers portrayed actually when they came to India. They said, you are all heathens, you are all barbaric people, snake charmers and all that. But now here we are, the missionaries who have come here to enlighten you, like that. That was their idea. That's how they saw our scriptures also, like that. So knowledge that promotes and pursues sense gratification, but showing as if it is a great advancement, that you see is something which is condemned further, which is condemned as something which will take to the deeper darkness. Why? Because it is ignorance but masquerading as knowledge, pretending as knowledge. So out and out ignorance is okay, but if you are pretending, although you are ignorant, you are pretending that you are a great knowledgeable person, that is a problem, because it will cheat so many people, it will deprive people, it will cheat that person himself up, right? If you can wake a sleeping person, can you wake up a pretender? Somebody is sleeping, you can wake him up. Like, But if somebody is pretending, even if you bring big alarm, person will just turn other side and sleep. Why? Because he's pretending. So that's the sense of this avidya and vidya over here. You understand? Huh? So that's why vidya is being said to be more detrimental, because this vidya is not actual vidya, it is knowledge that actually promotes sense gratification. The knowledge that is not the real vidya, but the knowledge which just appears to be real vidya, it is not real vidya. So all the material knowledge, all these aspects like science and technological advancement and all, where people like, they feel like we are at the helm of all human development. They feel like that we are the best now. All these years humanity was in darkness, now here we are, But actually it's opposite, right? Previously people were more sober and knowledgeable of spiritual truths, and now we see the other way around. You can't believe, Prabhu, in today's day and time, even to Indian kids, you ask a question, who spoke Bhagavad Gita to whom? They cannot answer. This is quite a common affair now. And you ask in any standard school, 10-year-old boy, 12-year-old boy, hey, who spoke Bhagavad Gita? So I think Bhima spoke too. Like they are not aware of it. If you ask questions of this sort, something they will know here, there. Many of them they don't know. And they may know many other things, but they don't know anything about scriptures, anything about these aspects. Why? Because the whole aspect, academic education, is actually making them more and more atheistic, more and more, at least, they want to talk about humanity and all that. They don't want to talk about God, absolutely. So that sort of vidya is what is being condemned here. We will see in Prabhupada's purport, it will be very, very, very clear in Prabhupada's purport, this way. So that's basically the vidya here, and that's why it is said it will take you to deeper ignorance. Coming to the 10th verse, we will talk about that what is one result of avidya, another result of vidya. We'll talk about that. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Can you please repeat this in a brief once again?
See, basically, how can vidya take you to deeper ignorance? This is the point, right? So, how can vidya take you to deeper ignorance? Avidya or ignorance taking you to deeper darkness is understood. But why vidya is taking you to the deeper darkness? It is because it is not actual vidya. Yeah, it is pretentious vidya. It is vidya just thought like it is vidya, but it is actually ignorance only. Because the sole purpose of that knowledge is that you promote and pursue sense gratification. They are not interested in God, they are not interested in morality, they are not interested in any of these sorts. So
this is so-called Baba.
Yeah, so this is like so-called knowledge, or even within Vedic, Prabhupada will talk about especially those who are, karma kandis, but they have absolutely zero interest in Krishna. They will also come into this. See, that is actually Vedic knowledge. But still, as a karma kandi, if you are averse to Krishna or you are absolutely indifferent to Krishna, then that will also qualify for this. Prabhupada will speak about this aspect. Like the Yadnik Brahmins. See, they are doing swaha swaha, and when Krishna comes, what are they interested? They are not interested at all. So you see, because of that so-called knowledge, they are offending Krishna. An ignorant person probably would not have offended Krishna. He is just ignorant. He doesn't know. But these guys, they ended up offending Krishna.
So, bro, in that case, shall we consider this tantric?
Tantric?
In this vidya, who is going to a darker, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, they are.
Yeah, basically how it is, see, tantrics are also, it depends on, there is left hand tantra, there is right hand tantra. Two kinds of tantras are there. Dakshina tantra, Vama tantra. So in that, the left hand tantra are those horrible black magic people and all that. So they are the ones who are like very ignorant, and they are the ones who don't understand about supremacy and all. And it is a very deadly path, that we can say. So if you're talking about them, yes, we can agree that it is something which will take to the deeper darkness. Yes, there is right hand tantra also, Dakshina tantra, by which you worship deities like Vishnu, you worship Shiva, you worship Parvati, and all these deities. So that is considered to be a very pure worship, tantrika worship. Like Lord Guruvayurappan is worshipped by tantrika process. In Kerala, he is worshipped by tantrika vidhi. So, but it is considered a very proper, wonderful worship. So in tantra there are two of these things. So if you talk about the other one, yes, left hand tantra. So then it is something which is very deadly. It promotes, pursues. Then we can call it as vidya. Yeah, the pretentious vidya, like that. So let's see now what Prabhupada says about this. It's important that, see, Prabhupada now, he speaks about all these themes. Why vidya is worse than avidya? हाँ पूछिए प्रभु, समझ रहा है क्या विद्या अविद्या क्या है? बोलिए, क्या कर रहे? जो विद्या है, जो भी हमारा जो भौतिक जो इंद्रिय भोग के लिए जो हमारा ज्ञान, हाँ देखिए, भौतिक इंद्रिय भोग के लिए जो ज्ञान है, उसमें अगर ऐसा भाव है कि भाई हम ये ज्ञान इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें देह जो है उसको ठीक से रखना है ताकि भगवान की सेवा हो या भक्तों की सेवा हो, तो फिर तो वो ज्ञान अच्छा रहता है। लेकिन उसमें अगर ऐसा भाव है कि देह के संबंधित इंद्रिय भोग का ये ज्ञान यही सब कुछ है और मुझे भगवान से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है, ये जो मुझे दे रहा है यही सर्वश्रेष्ठ है। जैसे क्या हो गया, पहले देवता लोगों के पास जाते थे लोग इंद्रिय भोग मिलने के लिए, आजकल किसके पास जाते हैं? तो प्रभुपाद कहते हैं वैज्ञानिक लोगों के पास जाते हैं। तो वैज्ञानिक लोग देवता लोगों को रिप्लेस कर दिए, क्योंकि लोगों का उनको देवता या इसका कुछ पड़ा नहीं है, उनको पड़ा है मुझे इंद्रिय भोग चाहिए। तो अगर कल को ये इंद्रिय भोग भगवान के सिवा मिल जाए तो वो तो कर ही लेंगे, उनको नहीं चाहिए भगवान वगैरह, उनको कुछ लेना देना नहीं भगवान से, उनको क्या चाहिए? केवल इंद्रिय भोग चाहिए। तो इस प्रकार का अगर भाव है तो वो ये वाली विद्या हो गई, ये झूठी विद्या जो बोली है। तो इंद्रिय भोग में भी अलग अलग भाव होते हैं प्रभु, दो प्रकार के भाव होते हैं। एक में जरूरी नहीं कि वो भगवान को मानता नहीं है, वो मानेगा भगवान को लेकिन तो भी उसको वो चाहिए। लेकिन दूसरा जो है ना इस प्रकार का, जिसको भगवान से कुछ लेना देना ही नहीं है, तो फिर ये वाला जो है वो इस कैटेगरी पे आएगा। समझ रहा है ये कि नहीं समझ रहा? तो ये विद्या जो चीज है ये झूठी विद्या है, ऐसा याद रखिए आप, ये एक्चुअल विद्या नहीं है ये। जब कर्मकांड में भी इसका प्रभुपाद बताएंगे कि वेदवाद रथा को प्रभुपाद जी ने बोल दिया है कि ये विद्या वाले है। आगे आएगा, ठीक है, तब चर्चा करते हैं तो आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा क्या है वो। वो भी आएंगे, वो भी आएंगे इसमें, प्रभुपाद ने कैटेगरी की है, सीधी सीधी आएगी वो, बिल्कुल। माया अपरित ज्ञान आएंगे, वेदवाद रता आएंगे, ये दो बिल्कुल आएंगे, ठीक है। तो देखिए विद्या अविद्या से क्यों खराब बोली गई है इस श्लोक में? विद्या घने अंध, ओके आई एम स्पीकिंग इन हिंदी। Why is Vidya taking in deeper ignorance than avidya? So that will be Prabhupada discussing in para 1. Then what is worshipping avidya? He will speak about that. Who are those people who worship avidya or they are cultivating avidya? Vidya avidya, vidya avidya में bewilder मत होइए। Just remember very clear. एक है avidya which is अज्ञान, and second is vidya which appears to be gyan but it is not real gyan. Yeah, it is a false gyan or pseudo gyan. It's like that. So what is that pseudo gyan? Prabhupada speaks about it. Let's see now that.
So Prabhu, those who are so-called gurus that we see in
India, they will also come in this. Absolutely. Yes. Those who are completely distracting people, misleading people, so-called gurus. So many of them, yes. So you see, Prabhupada talks about this so-called vidya this pretentious vidya or pseudo vidya, by talking about godless modern education, it will come into, this will come. Godless modern education, right? Modern education where you are talking a lot about science, technology, this, that, yeah, wo, but then you don't believe in God. You are an atheist, right? There are big atheists who are like big time, they are propagating atheism, proponents of atheism, right? There is this person called as, Darwin's Rottweiler. There was this Darwin. After Darwin went, two people picked up his theory and they acted as Darwin's lawyers. Darwin ka vakil ban gaye wo log. So one was Thomas Huxley. He was known as Darwin's bulldog. And then another person is one who is still living. His name is Richard Dawkins. And he is one of the biggest atheists of the world. He just goes around defeating Christian fathers and all that and establishing the pure cult of atheism. Like that, Richard Dawkins. So this person also. So all these guys, Vidyayamrata, although they show as if they are great, learned people, but what they are spreading is ignorance actually, complete ignorance. This person also. So we'll talk about that, godless modern education. Then Vedavadarata is one category. Those who are Karmakandi people, but they are interested so much in Karmakand that they have nothing to do with Krishna. They are just not interested. That's not how a usual Karmakandi is. Usual Karmakandi also respects Krishna. It's just that he is interested in his own sense enjoyment. But it's not that they are not absolutely disinterested or they don't even believe in Krishna, nothing like that. But these guys, Vedavadarata, Prabhupada especially is addressing them. If they are disinterested in Supreme Lord, they don't even recognize Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada gives example of that Yadnik Brahmanas, that mentality. Those Yagic Brahmanas later became, somewhat purified. But the mentality is what Prabhupada is speaking. And finally, Maya Aparita Jnana, those whose knowledge is stolen by Maya. So these are Mayavadis actually. So Prabhupada puts Mayavadis also in the category of so-called Vidya, especially Mayavadis. So you can see. All right. So please read now.
This mantra offers a comparative study of Vidya and Avidya. Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but Vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous than mistaken or misguided.
Understand? Yeah. Prabhupada is clearly telling, knowledge is more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. Because now it will not remain only to himself. What it will do? It will spread to 100 different people. It will misdirect hundreds of people. If somebody is ignorant, he is himself in ignorance. But if you are misdirecting, then you become the leader of, yeah, completely. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu. Modern civilization.
Modern civilization has advanced considerably in the field of mass education. But the result is that people are more unhappy than ever before because of the stress placed on material advancement to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect.
Yeah. See, Prabhupada is not against modern advancement or like that. See, as devotees, we also use all the gadgets, right? The latest gadgets, they are with devotees and they are using it for Krishna's service, right? Sometimes outside people, they just seeing the gadget, they get impressed. Are Prabhuji is using Apple, like that, because he doesn't have Apple, but Prabhuji got by somebody's mercy, this way. So we are not against science and technology. Prabhupada writes a very nice line here, you see. He says that because of the stress placed on material advancement to the exclusion of most important part of life. So if you show that science and technology and this material advancement, this is it, this is goal of life, this is the best generation, at last now we have reached the summit of human civilization. So you see, you are actually slowly, inadvertently, you are removing the God from the picture. You are removing the religion and all these aspects. Shastras, in fact, they will talk in opposite way. They will say, no matter what, how much ever advancement you make, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, is it going to be there or not? So they keep the focus on this aspect of Supreme Lord and the real problems of life. But this aspect of civilization, and especially meaning this science and technology advancement, Prabhupada is having, he's critiquing this idea only because of this, that it will cause exclusion of spiritual life. That's what they are doing actually, to quite a great degree. See, why am I saying that in schools and all, people, they previously, what sort of culture was there in students, right? Prabhupada will also address that in the next verse. What kind of understanding about God consciousness. But now if you see, it's like very different scenario now. Even child would ask questions like, does God really exist? I am an atheist. I was an atheist till I discovered that I am God. They speak like that. I was an atheist till I discovered that I am God. So from atheism he has gone to Mayavad, like that, nothing in between. So I read this on one boy had on his t-shirt, I was an atheist till I discovered I was God. So I said, thoda isko baaju mein le lo. Let's deal with him little bit. So the point is that, so our point is, you keep it realistic. If the glass is half full, you say it is half full. Don't say it is full. Whatever is the reality, that should be there. So you don't show as if advancement and science and all, it has solved all the problems. We are at the brink of the zenith of all progress. What all progress? With all this science and technology and everything, it's a comfortable state of misery and uncomfortable state of misery. Prabhupada would say previously there was no AC, so people were uncomfortable, they are sweating. So that was uncomfortable state of misery. And now in AC they are sweating because of stress. Right? The guy is sitting in AC in front of computer. Because he has to meet the timeline, stress, so much of stress. So it is a comfortable state of misery. Prabhupada says, prior was uncomfortable, now it's comfortable state of misery. But point is, whether uncomfortable or comfortable, state of what? Misery. Misery is the thing. So if you really solve the problems of life, if everything is becoming wonderful, stress is going away, depression, suicide, addiction, family problems, relationship issues, this, that, then one can at least speak about some, things. But if these are increasing, then why masquerade the whole technology and science as if it has just solved everything? This is Prabhupada's issue. Meaning, this is what is the issue that Prabhupada is raising. Our problem is not with material progress. We are saying, why is it being glorified as all in all? And while God consciousness is, and all is considered to be some sort of backward people do it or something like that. Okay. Next, Prabhupada. As far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra has explained very clearly that Supreme Lord is proprietor of everything and that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. And so Prabhupada says, real Vidya, first of all, understand what it is. It is the Ishavasya principle. That's the real Vidya. Supreme Lord is proprietor of everything and that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. So Vidya is knowing that Ishavasya principle, living as per it, and forgetfulness of that principle is avidya. So he clarifies first what is real Vidya and avidya, and then he speaks about these other people. So you see, now he starts speaking about those who are in so-called Vidya, but they are taking to the greater darkness, like that. So first he speaks about the aspect of avidya, and then he gets into this vidya also. Please read this, those who simply engage.
Those who simply engage in the profitless pursuit of sense gratification are worshipping avidya according to Sri Ishopanishat. And those who play the role of helping this sort of civilization in the name of educational advancement are actually doing more harm than those who are on the platform of gross self-gratification. The advancement of learning by a godless people is as dangerous as a valuable jewel on the hood of a cobra.
Yeah, thank you. So you see, one category is who are simply engaged in profitless pursuit of sense gratification. And another are, in the name of educational advancement, they are actually doing more harm. So can you tell me who is which category? As per this verse, somebody simply engaged in profitless pursuit of sense gratification is what? Avidya or vidya? Avidya. Very nice. And what about this, civilization in the name of educational advancement, but doing more harm? They are vidya, isn't it? Prabhupada gives the example of jewel on the hood of a cobra. We talked about it. Plain cobra is okay, or cobra with a jewel is okay? Plain cobra is okay. As soon as you see it, this is cobra, stay away from it. Like that. But that jewel is there. Person may forget also that there is a cobra below that jewel. He just focused on jewel. Oh, if I get it, I'll make big money. Like nazdik jao fir. Some, as per Vedic scriptures, some cobras do have some jewels on their head, like that. So they are there. Mani, they are known as Mani Sarpa or Mani Nag, Nagamani, like that. So they are very deadly, isn't it?
Today's time also.
Yeah, today's time also they are there, but they may not be found on Earth and all. They may be found on other planets. Yes, like that. Yes. In the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, the advancement of education by godless people is compared to decorations on a dead body. Right? What is that? Jati Shastra Japas Tapa. Apranasya eva dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. That's the verse basically. Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. Like that. Yes. So, sometimes you have a dead body, and that dead body is decorated very nicely before taking it to the crematorium, right? So then, especially it's there in certain traditions like that. You decorate the dead body very nicely. So now it's dead, right? Once the soul is gone, what is the point? So the verse says, apranasya eva dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. It is only for lokaranjanam. It is for entertaining people. That, just see how wonderful the guy is looking. Oh, the guy is gone. Guy is not there now. He is passed away. Like that. So what is the point in decorating the dead body? Vedic scriptures, they are very realistic. They say, yes, the soul has departed, now do the next job. Like that. You just go and do the cremation rites. So similarly, Prabhupada is comparing it to this whole aspect of science and technology, modern advancement or educational advancement. But if it is devoid of knowledge of Supreme Lord, it is like decoration on a dead body. That's why he is quoting that example. For that purpose he is quoting. And it may entertain some people, but those who are wise, they will not be impressed by that this way. So like that, he is talking about these people. So you see, now he will talk about those who are in Vidya, so-called Vidya, like that. So in that, this is the first category, you see. According to Bhagavad Gita, mistaken mundane educators are known as Vedavadarata and Mayaya Paritajnana. So how many categories in Vidya? Those so-called Vidya or pseudo-Vidya, Prabhupada has made 3 categories in that. First category is godless modern education, just godless. You can see here, we have made godless modern education. What are these guys? These are education which is nothing to do with Supreme Lord. This all atheistic education. So this is first category, who are said to be so-called Vidya, like that. And then next category is Vedvadarata. And third category is Maya Aparita Jnana. Okay? So you see, Prabhupada talks about them. Please read this section. Prabhu, you want to read behind? You want to read this? Or Prabhu, this highlighted portion you can read?
They may also be atheistic demons, the lowest of men, those who are pose themselves as very learned in the Vedic literature, but unfortunately they are completely diverted from the purpose of Vedas.
Yeah. So you see, Vedvadarata, why is he putting in that pseudo Vidya category? Because they may pose themselves as very learned in Vedic literature, right? But what is their characteristic? They are completely diverted from the purpose of Vedas. They have nothing to do with Supreme Lord. These Vedvadarata men are not at all interested in the personality of Godhead. You see, this is their characteristic. That's why even they are speaking on the basis of Vedas, still they are being condemned. Because they just don't have anything to do with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that. This way. So it's like, yes, thief in garb of police. Very, very dangerous. Because one will not recognize such a thief. This way. So they make this entire sense gratification as the whole thing. So Prabhupada speaks now about this. Prabhu, please read this. Yeah. You can read.
But the Vedavadarata people, instead of realizing that the purpose of the Vedas is to revive the forgetful soul's lost relationship with the personality of Godhead, take it for granted that such side issues as the attainment of heavenly pleasure for sense gratification, the lust for which causes their material bondage in the first place, are the ultimate end of the Vedas. Such people misguide others by misinterpreting the Vedic literature.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes they even condemn the Puranas.
See, this is the problem. Sometimes they condemn even the Puranas. So there is one famous Arya Samaj. They are the Vedavadarata. They are big scholars of Vedas, but they condemn Puranas. Their founder wrote a book called as Bhagavat Khandanam. Bhagavat ka Khandan, refutation of Bhagavatam. He wrote a book like that, Dayanand Saraswati. So one Vaishnava, he wrote Bhagavat Khandan Khandanam. He wrote refutation of Bhagavatam. Khand kar diya usko. He broke all his arguments to pieces. So you see, you are a scholar of Veda. That same Veda is saying Bhagavatam is Panchama Veda. What is your problem with Purana? Right? See, even Shankaracharya does not have any problem with Puranas. Shankaracharya's true followers also don't have any problem with Purana. Shankaracharya has quoted all Puranas except Bhagavat. Vishnu Puran, Padma Puran, all Puranas he has quoted. So who are these upstarts who are not even following Shankaracharya? You imagine? Shankaracharya reveres all. He wrote a commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam, Mahabharata, which is a Smriti scripture. He wrote commentaries on all such scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama, and all that. He quoted all these various Puranas like Vishnu Puran, Padma Puran, Brahma Vaivat Puran, Brahma Puran in his commentary. And these upstarts who have come later and they think that they are great Vedic scholars, they dare to condemn or criticize Bhagavat Puran, which is the best of highest Puran actually, like that. So that's why.
No authority who can take any kind of.
So that's what, as Vaishnavas, we dealt, but yes, sometimes even if you deal with that whole thing, the popularity of the person also may, play a pivotal role, right? Sometimes, like some of these guys were great nationalists. They were in freedom struggle and all that. So a great sympathy may be there from that aspect, that they fought the freedom struggle. But then that doesn't give you right to say something about the scriptures and all that.
Like Srila Prabhupada also condemns the commentary of Dr. Rajendra.
Radhakrishnan. Dr. Radhakrishnan. Yes. So Prabhupada was like that only. Prabhupada said very clear, see, you be in your own field. If you are not an authority on Shastra, don't come there.
Yes.
Your authority of politics, you be there. Even for Gandhi, his statement was very interesting, right? He said, Gandhiji is a politician among saints and saint among politicians. See, Prabhupada made a very interesting statement. Saint among politicians and a politician among saints. That was how Prabhupada spoke about him. Like that. Of course, Prabhupada tried to connect also to Gandhiji. Prabhupada said once that actually he was a very sincere soul, but he did not get a good guru. Yeah. Prabhupada said, yeah. Which was the panth that he said? That only I couldn't hear. Okay. Yeah. See, basically, Prabhu, basically you can judge anything by asking or understanding what is their philosophy. See, in general, no, we never have any problem with a person. We respect the person, but we deal with their ideology, philosophy. हमें व्यक्ति से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अभी I was speaking about Arya Samaj, Dayanand Saraswati. So we don't have problem with Dayanand Saraswati. We have problem with what they are speaking or preaching. So even all these guys that you are mentioning, if they are preaching Mayavadi ideas, and then we have Maya Apridgyana, ये विद्या category में आ गए वो फिर. So we will have to see person by person, what are they preaching and all. So that's why best is to hear from our own Sampradaya devotees, read Prabhupada books, because outside we are not sure what they are doing. It is like a very risky affair, isn't it? They may come together and say that Bhagavat Charcha, but in that Bhagavat we may hear all Mayavadis only going on. It may happen like that. So, yeah, correct. You want to judge any path, you ask them sadhya and sadhana. What is your goal? So जैसे ही वो बोल देते हैं, goal is to merge in the supreme. Finished, आपको पता चल गया. हरे कृष्णा, धन्यवाद. दूर रहेंगे इनसे. Like that. And sadhana, what is your process also? So these two are important. So based on that we can see. So many of them may be Vedvadrata, possible. We don't know, because they are just speaking so many things like that, right? So sometimes they condemn even Puranas, Prabhupada is saying. The Vedvadratas give their own explanations of the Vedas, neglecting the authority of great teachers. So this is problem. They also tend to raise some unscrupulous person from among themselves and present him as the leading exponent of Vedic knowledge. Such Vedvadratas are especially condemned in this mantra by the very appropriate Sanskrit words Vidyayam Rata. Literally क्या उसका अर्थ होता है? विद्यायाम रता मतलब जो विद्या में रत है, अविरत. विद्या वो अविरत, उसमें विद्या जो है उसमें बने हुए है, लगे हुए है. Vidyayam rata. But actually you see that effort is not giving them the benefit, rather it is degrading them, because of the wrong mentality that they have, wrong knowledge that they have. So that's Vedvadrata. Such Vedvadratas search out meanings in every word of the Vedas to suit their own purposes. Like that. They do not know that Vedic literature is a collection of extraordinary books that can be understood only the chain of disciplic succession. So they don't have any regard for parampara, acharya system and all that. One of my friends was doing a PhD in Chicago University, and he had a guide. That lady had 4 PhDs in Hinduism, very big learned lady. And she is completely bewildered about what Vedas are, in spite of so many PhDs. So she asked this Prabhuji that, can you do a PhD, because he is a Gaudiya. So she said, can you do a PhD doing a critique of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita? Critique of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. You show the faults with Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he said, my Lord, what is this? Aparad, hi. He said, so he asked to suggest some other topic. So that topic was also Mahaprad. So she suggested 3 topics, all were offensive topics. So he was saying, you just see the mentality, it is so demoniac mentality. This person is top scholar of USA when it comes to Hinduism. And if they have such mentality, what have they understood? One of the topics was on Bhagavatam also. He said, Mother, Mate, please leave me alone. Please give some other talk. So finally, then she said, okay, what can you do? Okay, you do a PhD on Bhakti Vinod Thakur's contribution. Okay, all right. So she agreed on that. All right, do that. Nobody has done yet, so you can do. So she did on that. But you see, this is also that another category. Within Vedvadrata, they don't understand this is parampara, the regard for parampara, nothing. They learned, she came in Varanasi, learned 8 years Sanskrit, and then started interpreting on her own, that way. So these guys, you see. Although knowing in and out Bhagavatam, like much better than any of us here. In and out study of Bhagavad, not done in parampara. It is a complete failure. It's just basic, even faith in Krishna. So that's because of being a Vedvadrata, somebody who doesn't understand importance of parampara and all that, this way. And then the Maya Aparit Jnana category, you see. The Maya Aparita Jnana class of men, okay, who can read? Someone can read? Yeah? Loud and clear.
The Maya Aparit.
Mataji can read, no? Someone can read.
The Maya Aparita Jnana class of men are self-made. The Maya Aparita Jnana class of men are self-made gods. Such men think that they themselves are God and that there is no need of worshipping any other god. They will agree to worship an ordinary man if he happens to be rich, but they will never worship the personality of Godhead. Such men, unable to recognize their own foolishness, never consider how it is that God can be entrapped by Maya, his own illusory energy. If God were even entrapped by Maya, Maya would be more powerful than God.
Yeah, so this Maya Aparit Jnana class, are they Mayavadis or Brahmavadis? What do you say? These are not Brahmavadis? Huh? Why they are not Brahmavadis? भगवान को मानते हैं वो, सिंपल है. ब्रह्मवादी तो भगवान को मानता है, ये थोड़ी ना मानते हैं ये लोग. They consider that I am only God, you are God, everyone is God. They have this idea that basically everything is Brahman. So now within that everything you can accept anything and everything, right? You can say you are God, I am God, but we have forgotten. So Prabhupada is asking, what kind of God is that? कैसा का भगवान है, वो भूल गया बेचारा, उसकी याददाश्त खो गई, उसको दूसरे को याद कराना पड़ रहा है. तुम भगवान हो, अच्छा मैं भगवान हो गया, हो बोल गया. This sort of Bhagwan, So Prabhupada would say, what a nonsense this is, right? You have forgotten. So then they would say that, no, we have not forgotten. Then you should be beaten up then, What exactly? Have you forgotten? You have not forgotten, like that. So then if you build up, they will go to that finally. I am not talking to you. You are not talking to me. Nothing is happening. There is everything is illusion. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Like that. So typically. So without understanding anything, like in India also, I was in Chandigarh and one driver, he was taking me and I started speaking something to him. So something. So he said, Maharaj, sab maya hai. You know, like, Maharaj, sab maya hai. बोले इसको तो थोड़ा ताबित देता हूँ. आधा घंटा फिर मैंने उसको सुनाया अच्छे से एकदम. तो बोला एंड में क्या सब माया है क्या? नहीं, बोला सब प्रभु की माया है. अभी कंक्लूजन. दिस इज गुड. आई सेड yeah, because क्या है, you know, you at least, I was like, you know, my ego, Prabhu, my ego made it. I was like, at least respect the cloth, you know, don't say to me, so maya hai, you know, like that. So I said, I'm not going to leave this person. So I all one concept I told him, and in the end he said, Sab Prabhu ki maya. Good. So this is good. I said, this is good. So he came inside, had prasad also, and he was happy that later. So it's like that. So in India, everybody is a philosopher. When it comes to God, right? Everybody thinks that he is a philosopher. But they don't know that they are not philosophers, they are philosophers. Right? Foolish philosophers, like that. So that's it is. That is what basically it is. So you see, materialist Vedavadrata, he makes a counterfeit note as real, and Mayavadi makes a real note as counterfeit. You are understanding this? Dekho, Vedavadrata, he says sense gratification is the best thing. So sense gratification is actually a counterfeit note, nakli note hai wo. And he thinks that ये नकली नोट असली है. This is actually the pleasure of life. This is actually the goal of life. और मायावादी जो असली नोट है भगवान, उसको क्या बोल देते? भगवान is Maya. So he calls actually the real note as counterfeit note, while the Vedavadrata calls, you know, counterfeit note as a real note. So they are opposite mentalities actually, completely. You can see in this way. So that's why this Mayavad and so 3 categories of Vidyayam Rata. Who wants to tell? बोलिए 3 categories की बात की हमने आज. विद्या, ये जो तथाकथित विद्या वाले हैं, उसमें 3 categories है. किसी को याद है? Godless modern education, Vedavadrata. Very nice. Hari Bol. So you have understood this chapter then, if you understood these 3 categories. So there was one very amazing Mayavadi, you know, and this Mayavadi, you know, he became a devotee. He was from Varanasi and he is a very great scholar. So he became a devotee later. This happened before 500 years. So he wrote a very beautiful poem. He said, before I was running away from black to attain white, but now I want to give up white and attain black. Who understands his words? Yes, Prabhu. Before I was running away from black to attain white, but now I am running away from white to attain black. Attain or obtain black. So what is he saying? ये black and white क्या color चाहिए क्या? उसको क्या चाहिए क्या? Exactly. You understand what is he saying?
Like the white means the Brahman and the black means the Supreme Lord Krishna.
Okay.
So he was running away from Krishna to attain Brahman. But now he is running away from Brahman to attain Krishna.
Hari Bol! Wonderful. Fantastic. So this was how, you know, he wrote a poem. Now I am running black and white like that. So that's how you see how Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. This way. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so take a break. Then we will finish the mantra 10 and 11. Mantra 10 and 11, yeah, we can finish. No problem. Yes. 5 minutes break. Let's take a 5 minutes break. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, please pay attention here. Yes, so now we move to the next verse, verse 10. What does it say? It says one result is achieved by the Vidya, another result is achieved by avidya. Okay. Anya devahur vidyaya anyadahur avidyaya iti shushrumadhiranam yenastadvicha chakshire. Yes, please read the translation.
The wise, they have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of science.
Yeah. So one result by the culture of knowledge, vidyaya, and another result, anyat, avidyaya, by avidya. Iti shushruma dhiranam. This we have heard from the dhiras. This we have heard from the sages. Yenas tad vichachakshire. In that way they had explained to us. They are saying. So, Vidya and Avidya, they give two different results, they are saying. So now in this particular verse, Vidya and avidya certainly means something else. So you see what it means. Avidya here refers to knowledge that promotes sense gratification. So which means avidya from prior verse as well as vidya, both. Pure ignorant pursuit of pleasure and also so-called knowledgeable pursuit of pleasure. Both avidya and vidya are treated as avidya in this verse. And then what is vidya? It's actually true knowledge, spiritual knowledge, Krishna consciousness. Like that. That will give a different result. This will give one result, this will give another result. The true spiritual knowledge, that aspect. So that's how. So how does Prabhupada write his purport? One second. You see, Prabhupada, he talks about vidya leading to desirable qualities. One result is achieved by vidya. Avidya leads to undesirable qualities. Another result by avidya, which is undesirable. Vidya leads to desirable qualities. Avidya leads to undesirable qualities. And then finally, who can teach vidya? He speaks on that also. Iti shushruma dhiranam. हम लोगों को ये विद्या किससे मिली? धीर लोगों से मिली. इसलिए प्रभुपाद takes up that theme and says only a dhira can teach vidya. So you need a certain qualification also to teach spiritual knowledge. It's not that anybody can teach. So one has to be dhira. At least one should be trying to be a dhira. So we'll speak about it. So vidya leads to desirable qualities. You see, Prabhupada speaks. So now Prabhupada connects Ishopanishad to Gitopanishad. Ishopanishad को किससे connect करते हैं? Gitopanishad से. So he quotes from this 13 chapter verses 8 to 12, very powerful verses. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, all those verses. So they are known as the items of knowledge. These are the items of knowledge. Meaning, knowledge is not just some intellectual stuff. Oh, he is very knowledgeable. See, knowledge should be seen in a person's transformation also. Information, 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 but no transformation. Prabhupada would say, itna information but no transformation. So what is the use? So in material world, people, they don't have anything to do with transformation. Their only information, if you have information, then people feel, oh, he is so knowledgeable. But in bhakti, information should translate into transformation. So that's why Prabhupada is connecting to these qualities, that knowledge means these qualities should be there in the person. Then it's knowledge. In fact, Krishna says there in that section that this is what his knowledge is, and if this is not present, it is all ignorance, he says. So you see, knowledge is not just some intellectual information, some knowing, some bombastic philosophy, but it is that one should also cultivate this quality. So one result is achieved by vidya and another by avidya. So you see, the result by avidya, Prabhupada is quoting these verses for that. These are the characteristic. One should culture knowledge in the following way. Knowledge should go with these qualities. So these are very important. If you have not read them in Gita, it is good actually, we should read them here. So I would want one of you to read these qualities one after another. Read it loudly and proficiently.
One should become a perfect gentleman and learn to give proper respect to others.
I'll just add and then you continue. See, this is amanitvam. So a devotee, he is very, very, Prabhupada said, my devotees, meaning ISKCON devotees, they are perfect ladies and gentlemen, Prabhupada said. So a devotee is very, very respectful in all aspects. Amanitvam. He is not the one who is anxious. In fact, that's how Prabhupada defines humility also. Anyone knows Prabhupada's definition of humility from Bhagavad Gita? Of course, Prabhuji knows, apart from him. Anyone else?
Don't expect any.
Yes. Yes, not to be anxious of satisfaction of being honored by the others. See, such a beautiful definition. So you may be sitting on Vyasasana, but you may be most humble man. Why? Because the definition is, one is not anxious to receive the satisfaction of being honored by the others. You may be sitting on Vyasasana, but you are not anxious to receive that. So then you are humble. And somebody sitting in the audience may be looking like, oh, so humble, right? But then if he is within his heart, after the class, everybody should recognize, Kisne ki seva? Das. Right? Aapka das. Kya zabardast book distribution? Kisne kiya? Aapka das. Hare Krishna. Like that. तुच्छ दास ने और ऐड करो आपके तुच्छ दास ने एकदम. So if you see that kind of anxiousness is there. So Prabhupada was sitting on Vyasasana, but he was not anxious to receive that. And we may be sitting down, but we may be very anxious. When I am going to sit up, बहुत दिन से नीचे बैठा हूँ अभी थोड़ा ऊपर बैठना है. Right? Somebody may have that sort of attitude. So then it's not amanitvam. It's manitvam. Okay, Prabhu, go ahead.
One should not pose himself as a religionist simply for name and fame.
Yeah. Sometimes people want to just show that they are very religious. Dambha. It is called dambha. See, sometimes you are proud because there is some reason to be proud. Sometimes you are proud although there is no reason to be proud. That is dambha. Baldev Vidyabhushan explains, dambha is you are proud when there is no good reason to be proud actually. This way. Right? So this dambha you can see sometimes in India. This Ganesh festival is there. So, किसकी मूर्ति सबसे बड़ी रहेगी? Right? दही हंडी, हमारी दही हंडी सबसे ऊपर. Like that. It's actually, they want to celebrate some Lord's festival, but it is more ego festival. Big Ganesha they want to have. A big dahi handi. Dahi handi, you understand? There is this festival where they break the butter pot like that. So it is all actually dambha we see. They are not so much genuinely interested. But what they want to do is all this stuff, right? Like that. Visa Ganesh. You have heard of Visa Ganesh? They want to worship Ganesh, but primary purpose is visa. One of the temples in South India became very famous as Visa Ganesh. Like that. Visa Balaji, Visa Ganesh. If any of you have gone there, don't worry, I don't have any problem with that, but I am saying yes, Visa Ganesh, Visa Balaji, So they are worshipping Balaji, but they basically, that's Balaji for clearing the obstacles on the path of visa. That's what is the temple. That Ganeshji is for that purpose. So it's actually dambha. We can, yeah. But yeah, agreed. See, the point is this, Prabhu. See, when you talk from perspectives, one perspective is when you talk from complete perspective where they are not doing anything, and at least they are doing that, so you can appreciate. When as devotees we speak from the top perspective, where we see this as a contamination, right? Yes, one time a boy came, a father had two sons, and one of the sons came, that was the result day of the exam. So Pitaji ne pucha, kitne percent mile? 80%. Murkh, 80%? Nonsense. You should study. Get lost from my face. 80%. And then another boy. How much did you get? Father, 80%. Very nice. Wonderful. 80%, very nice, you should study like this. Now I'll give you a gift. Both got 80%. But father is behaving towards one like that and one like this. Why? What is the reason?
Because he was expecting better results from that 80% person.
Okay.
And he was not at all expecting him to pass.
Yeah. That's good. Yes. The one who got 80% this time, the first guy, was always 95%. And that 95 se wo aa gaya 80 pe. And this another 80% fellow was always, tottering around 40. Somehow or other, 35, got it like that. But he got 80. So you see, both got 80. So it depends on frame of reference. So that was my point like that. So when a devotee looks at all these things, so we see that because the platform of bhakti is so exalted. So from that platform when we show that contamination so that our bhakti is pure. We certainly appreciate everyone. A devotee appreciates even an ant. But yes, when you talk from the perspective, the frame of reference is also clear. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
One should not become a source of anxiety to others by the actions of his body, by the thoughts of his mind, or by his words.
See, this is the definition of ahimsa. Amazing definition, no? Ahimsa does not mean just not to kill or injure a person. One does not become a source of anxiety. If you become a source of anxiety for someone, even by your mind, by words, that is called himsa actually. It is himsa, Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
One should learn forbearance even in the face of provocation from others.
Yes, please go ahead.
One should learn to avoid duplicity in his dealings with others.
Yeah, duplicity, avoiding. Arjavam, simplicity. Simplicity is considered the first qualification of a devotee. Saralata. Devotee is very simple, like that. We are very straightforward. We need not be blunt, but we are very straightforward. We are not, manipulative. See, in the place where I was staying, I have a tendency to observe people. That's how you can hear a lot of examples when they come from me, because I used to observe carefully. So this, he was a boy who was becoming devotee, and he was very skeptic. He thought that anybody who does something to you, it has to be with some purpose, So one of our devotees, he would give prasadam to everybody. And wherever he would go, he would bring some prasadam, right? There are some devotees like that. They will bring always some prasadam and give you like that. So this devotee used to distribute. And this boy who was becoming devotee, he came to me and he said, Prabhuji, why he gave prasadam to me? I think something is there. So, no, I said he gives prasadam to everybody. No, Prabhu, but first he came and gave to me only. Why he gave to me? I am thinking like that. I said, stop this nonsense. He is a devotee who wants to please everyone. No, Prabhuji, in this world nobody, he started giving some philosophy to me, like that, this way. So, he was this was a wonderful devotee. He would just feed prasadam and all like that, right? So happily a devotee is coming and you see he is giving you some prasadam and you think, क्यों दिया प्रभु कुछ तो है दाल काली है like that right? If you think like that, अरे nothing arjavam, be simple Baba, he brought prasadam, he gave you, कहाँ लेके जा रहे हो तुम उसको? You are making it into such a huge, this is not a devotee. I mean, this is not a devotee's attitude. Arjavam, very simple devotees. Okay, thank you Prabhu, you gave, thank you so much, like that, this way. Otherwise, sometimes some people, they read some Kautilya Arthashastra and then they become kutil, like that. Why this devotee gave smile to me? Like that. Prabhuji, as soon as he entered temple hall, he looked at me. Or you should be happy or miserable, You should be happy, no, he glanced at me like that. No, Prabhu, but why on me? Because you need mercy. That's why he glanced on you. This way. So, Arjavam, actually, if we are just simple, no, 50% of our life's problems will go. If you are just simple devotees, keeping that simplicity. But if we become cynical, we become skeptical, then it becomes a problem, like that. So sometimes devotees feel, oh, if I am too simple, then I will be exploited. Do you believe Krishna exists? कोई कृष्णा नाम का व्यक्ति है, मानते हो कि नहीं आप? Right? So if you are being simple, why will he allow you to be exploited, right? He exists somewhere. Don't forget that thing. So he will certainly protect, like that. And if Vaishnavas exploit, it's better than getting exploited by outsiders, right? वैष्णव एक्सप्लॉइट कर करके क्या करेगा? आपको लगा था 2 घंटा सेवा थी, उसने 4 घंटा लगा दिया आपको. This is his exploitation. If at all you want to use that word, exploitation, right? We don't say exploitation, we say extending. Prabhuji extended like that, right? Extending. So, actually that's why Bhakti Siddhanta says, Saralta Bhakta ki pehla guna hai Bhakt ka wo. He is simple, he is straightforward. He may be a very sharp person, but he is not skeptical. He knows that these are my well-wishers, like that. So if we keep that simplicity, then we will be also very straightforward in our dealings. We will not be manipulative like that. As a part of management, sometimes we have to do some diplomacy and all, but that is also done with a pure intention. It's not like we want to manipulate and pander people for our own end. Nothing like that. Okay, bro, go ahead.
One should search out a bona fide spiritual master who can lead him gradually to the stage of spiritual realization. And one must submit himself to such a spiritual master, render him service and ask relevant questions. Very important, Acharyopasanam. Acharyopasanam. This is one of the most important qualities over here in this list of 18 qualities. Yes, Prabhu, please. In order to approach the platform of spirit self-realization, one must follow the regulatory principles enjoined in the revealed scriptures. Very clear. Yes, go ahead. One must be fixed in the tenets of the revealed scriptures. Yes. What do you mean tenets? Tenets is the principles, rules or principles of the revealed scriptures. Yeah. One should completely refrain from practices which are detrimental to the interest of self-realization. Yeah, all such practices or activities which are opposite, so we follow 4 regulative principles. We follow yama, niyam of bhakti, meaning shravanam, kirtanam, Vishnu, smaranam, all this process, and we avoid breaking 4 regulative principles. So this is all coming in that. Yeah. One should not accept more than he requires for the maintenance of the body. Yeah, so depending on quota, yes. Of course, everybody's quota is different. So maintenance of the body means don't feel like ek kapda de do bhai, don't like that. No, if you have your quota of 10 pairs, then you keep the 10 pairs, like that, whatever. Yes. One should not falsely identify himself with the gross material body, nor should one consider those who are related to his body to be his own. Very clear. Yes, go ahead. One should always remember that as long as he has a material body, he must face the miseries of repeated birth, old age, disease and death. There is no use in making plans to get rid of these miseries of the material body. The best course is to find out the means by which one may regain his spiritual identity. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, doshanu, darshanam. Anudarshanam. One carefully observes in this world how janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi is there. And then one takes the right spirit from the material world. Anudarshanam. Carefully remembering. Yes. One should not be attached to more than the necessities of life required for spiritual advancement. One should not be more attached to wife, children and home than the revealed scriptures ordain. Yeah. See, affection for wife, children and home is nice.
Attachment is not nice. There is difference between affection and attachment. Affection is wonderful. We should be affectionate to our family. If we are not affectionate, then we will not be responsible. But attachment is a problem. Attachment is deadly. Like we see the example of Dhritarashtra, right? How he was attached to Duryodhana. So because he was so much attached to Duryodhana, so Duryodhana controlled him completely. So similarly, if we are too much attached to our dependents and all, they will completely control you. So Krishna consciousness also, if they don't like, then they will make you either give up Krishna consciousness, or they will make you at least not practice at the level that you want to practice. Why? Because you are too much attached like that. So we should be affectionate. Emotions are most important, and Vaishnava though is super fine in emotions. It's not like we are stone-like, no. But we understand difference between affection and attachment. If it is going in attachment zone, then it's a problem, like that. So we remain very firm on principles of spiritual life, and we want entire family also to follow those principles of spiritual life. We may cultivate it in a way that they can take it up, but basically attachment and affection, that criteria to judge can be that Krishna consciousness should not be compromised, at least in main terms. Okay, all right, go ahead.
One should not be attached to more than necessities of life.
15th.
One should not be happy or distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind. One should become an unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna and serve him with rapt attention.
So this is the most important there. Amongst all the qualities, Bhaktir avyabhicharini. That's what is translated like that. So this avyabhicharini bhakti, this is the most important quality over here. If you have this, if you are trying to cultivate this, everything else will come. So that's why this is, Prabhupada also in his purport later focuses on this particular aspect. So see, knowledge means one should become an unalloyed devotee. Otherwise, kya knowledge hai usko? What sort of knowledge is there if you are not an unalloyed devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Yes, Prabhu, last two.
One should develop a liking for residence in a secluded place with a calm and quiet atmosphere, favorable for spiritual culture, and one should avoid congested places where non-devotees congregate.
Yeah. So calm and quiet, favorable for spiritual culture. So, when we are doing kirtan, that is calm and quiet. That is because our calm and quiet is different than yogis or jnanis calm and quiet. We actually are calm and quiet in the sense that our soul is calm and quiet in the association of devotees. Otherwise, non-devotees, many may be there, but we are actually there most miserable in non-devotee association. Last one.
Does that mean it will help us to absorb ourselves in our devotional service if we have a common?
Yes, certainly, exactly. Yes, it will.
One should become a scientist or philosopher and conduct research into spiritual knowledge, recognizing that spiritual knowledge is permanent, whereas material knowledge ends with the death of the body. So,
scientist or philosopher in the spiritual matter, you can take it to, it's not basically that Prabhupada is asking us to be scientist in outside world or philosopher. You can be there also. Devotees can be very ambitious, no doubt. But Prabhupada here is scientist and philosopher. He is saying more from that Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam, that aspect he is saying. That one is very keen on exploring the spiritual subject matter. So you see, these 18 items combine to form a gradual process by which real knowledge can be developed. Except for these, all other methods are considered to be in the category of nations, this way. So Prabhupada reminds us that, you see, that is what is Vidya and Avidya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's bhajan is being reminded here. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this wonderful thing. Please read this, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great acharya, maintained that all forms of material knowledge are merely external features of the illusory energy, and that by culturing them one becomes no better than an ass. This same principle is found here.
Vidyarvai.
Sri Ishopanishad. By advancement of material knowledge, modern man is simply being converted into an ass.
Yeah, Jiva ke karaye gadha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has written a good song for all GRE, GMAT and all those aspirants of education in the Western world. Vidyara Gaurave, Brahmi Deshe Deshe, Dhana Uparjana Kori. It's a beautiful song. Vidyara Vilase. He says that, wonderful like that. Swajana Palana Koriye Kamane. So it's a very nice song, telling about how one meaning a materialistic person wastes his life just earning money and running around for the sake of education and all that. Right? So Bhaktivinoda is showing that.
Does that mean that if someone wants to be more educated?
No problem. Yeah, absolutely. See, ambition is not a problem in bhakti. So many great devotees were stalwarts, even kings also. It's just that one utilizes that ambition in service of Krishna. It is not just for the sake of show off or flashy showing to the whole world. So if somebody wants to be a great businessman and serve Krishna by offering a lot of money or by taking huge enterprises by that influence, so it's very wonderful. Like that. In general, what should a person do? How much is too much? How less is too less? For that you need a practical guide in your spiritual life. But if somebody is greatly ambitious, so we don't have to say to him that, why you are so ambitious like that. Just be happy. Are the trees not there? Have all the caves closed? Go there and sleep, right? Shukdev Goswami says that, Chirani kim pathina santi. Are there no clothes in the street? Why you want, hi-fi clothes? And why you want to do this, that? Have all the caves closed? The trees are not giving any fruits? The rivers are not giving any water? Kasmad bhajanti kavayo dhanadur madandhan. Why are devotees glorifying the wealthy people? That's his question in the end. He says. So basically what he wants to say is, if you are doing it for Krishna's service, it is wonderful. You want to engage them. But it's not like a devotee is aspiring all these things for his own pleasure. It's not that devotee wants to lead an opulent life for his own sake. Even if one wants, he at least aspires that Krishna, I have this material desire, but I wish to utilize it in Krishna's service, in your service. So please give me the opportunity and purify also please this desire. One day I also want to become your pure-hearted servant. That way at least one can pray, and that way one can. But still, in terms of in our life, what to do, what not to do, we need a guidance, proper guidance, because people are different. Their psychophysical natures are different. Somebody may have a great Kshatriya nature, somebody may have a great Brahmana nature. So he's happy with minimal. But a Kshatriya, he needs a lot of things. But then he will do great service also. So that is very nice. You will see that he may bring a lot of resources in Krishna's service. So we need both. All the aspects are needed. One can just see from your place, with your pace, join the race. That's it. That was our statement, right? The other day. So that's the point. Okay, go ahead. So now Prabhupada speaks about the aspect of how avidya leads to undesirable qualities. Like that. So you see, Prabhupada, in the modern society, even a boy thinks himself self-sufficient and pays no respect to elderly men. Familiar scenario? Right? Due to the wrong type of education being imparted in our universities, boys all over the world are giving their elders headaches. Yes, children are giving headaches actually. I mean, not devotee children are very wonderful, or maybe their parents can tell. Right? But yeah, outside we see in the universities and all that, how it is happening. Like as soon as we go for this Bhagavad Gita contest in marathon, we do Bhagavad Gita here also, here you can't do, there. So as soon as we go, no, these principals and all that, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please come, you know, like that. So the scenario had changed, Prabhu, in last 5-6 years so much. They're like so welcoming. So then when I was reading this Prabhupada's purport, then I remembered, yeah, I saw these principal guys so much. They're saying, Prabhuji, students, they don't listen to anyone, Prabhuji, kuch kijiye, Prabhuji, you know, like that. They're like so desperate, you know. They don't listen to anyone. They don't respect to teachers and all, nothing of that sort. So we said, that's why here we are. You know, Bhagavad Gita contest. Yes. What do you want? Just do it for the whole school. So getting permission and all became very easy these days. Everybody wants it because very clearly it can be seen. The discipline, the respect, the etiquettes, everything is going down slowly. Especially with the social media and all that. This way, right? All of us. You know, I remember my father taught. One time a guest came in my house. And he was standing and I was sitting and I was speaking something, and exactly at that point father entered. And he said, nonsense. Later he chastised me very much. He said, get up and talk. If the elder is standing, you can't sit and talk. You have to stand. If he is sitting, you sit down and speak to him. Jaisa elder. So this I remember that he taught these things. So many other things also. And I'm sure all of you are teaching this to your children, or our parents taught and all. But even these things are missing now. Sometimes I see, sometimes even in devotee kids, like you are talking and then that guy is like, he is sitting like this and, what Prabhuji, when did you come? He's like speaking so casually that way. And you are standing, he is sitting, okay, Hare Krishna. So like that. So basic aspects of respect. If you are talking something, then you know, nobody will cut you short while speaking, right? All these things, basic etiquettes and all. So Prabhupada is saying this actually. They are giving elders their headaches. So what basically, the education which is not vidya, avidya, it will lead to undesirable quality. Unless and until you teach them the aspects from scriptures and all, it will not. Previously it was part of culture. So even if it was not being taught, through culture you picked it up. But now because the culture is also swiftly changing, so then they don't pick it up in culture. They pick up from social media something else, right? You know, they will previously, you know, you talked very respectfully to father. Now they don't. What father? Hey, you keep quiet. I know, you know, like that they will children speak. Tumko bahut pata hai, tum shant baitho. Like that. So this is happening, right? Because you know, when the children are to be educated, these are the things parents come and tell us that Prabhuji, thoda isko respect karne ko boliye. He doesn't respect me only. I said, you are his father, right? He doesn't respect you. Our father was like, you know, when he came from outside, sit down there. It's not like that. And then the next time you don't have to be told. He will be like, and you have to sit there like that. You know, get up like that. Now if you do this sort of thing, then they say child abuse. Or they say that, oh, this is like too much strictness and you need some counseling, parents need counseling and all that. Actually, you see how things are going so different direction, right? So anyway, lot of things to talk, but yeah, we will end now because we have the last verse also to be addressed. I don't know why it got disconnected. Maybe limit of some.
No, signal problem.
Okay. All right. So you do that. So Prabhupada says, like you see result of avidya, such children, or then sometimes children turning into atheistic scientists also. Prabhupada speaks about atheistic scientists also. It's working, right? See, Prabhupada says, universities have become centers of nations. Consequently, scientists are busy discovering lethal weapons to wipe out the existence of other countries. So sometimes the students turning into very atheistic kind of scientists, right? Albert Einstein was very, he felt greatly distressed because one of his letters led to the Manhattan Project that brought up the nuclear bomb, right? Robert Oppenheimer, he came up with this nuclear bomb that was put on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So, whole idea came because of one letter from Albert Einstein, which he wrote to the US president, and that developed into this whole. So, all throughout his life, he very much lamented that thing, that why did I write that, and because of which it led to. Because he said that, how can knowledge be for destruction? It can't be for destruction. Knowledge should not lead to the destruction this way. So all these lethal weapons, especially to the degree of atomic bombs and all that. So Prabhupada is saying these are avidya leading to all these undesirable sort of characteristics. Even the religious principles and all, only for the sake of some show off or like that. Nationalistic aspect also, Prabhupada says. Lot of enthusiasm with nationalism, but then no proper understanding of one's own identity and all that. Actually, Prabhupada was very gutsy. To be able to criticize nationalism is not easy. आपने देखा है कोई? Nationalism is such a glorified idea, but Prabhupada was very cool. He said, Janesha abhiggeshu saeva gokhara. Anybody who thinks that his land is worshipable, he is like cow or an ass. He would speak like that. So, to speak like that in against nationalism is like quite a thing. But he was, because he obviously is representing the tradition, the scriptures, so he was very fearless in everything like that. If they spoke something, then he would also speak, defend it very much. So to speak about science with so much of vigor, atheistic science, or to speak about nationalism and critique it, this was like Prabhupada's very straightforward approach. So that's why we can see that Prabhupada is like quite a very clear on everything, right? His ideas are not. These days even you see some of the spiritualists, they talk about some sort of bodily consciousness, right? They talk about in Bharat mein janme hai hum, that, and because of in Bharat, we sort of support a certain idea and all, which is completely sometimes bodily conscious. It's not exactly transcendental. So what my point is, I'm not getting into that, but my point is sometimes even great spiritualists, sometimes they may not tell this clearly that we are not body but we are spirit souls. This self-identity, you may give some other identity only, that we are Indians, which is also a false identity at a level, right? So we are Indians, or we are born in a certain land, or like that. It is not the ultimate identity, that's what I want to say. It is useful. Prabhupada also, he said, Bharat bhumite hoile manushya janmajar. But then finally, the point is, the real identity is that we are spirit souls. So that's the point that he is speaking. So, you see, Prabhupada, avidya leads to undesirable qualities. So all these examples of scientists and all that, he's speaking for that purpose only, that how avidya has led to that particular. And then he comes to the last part now. Last 3 paras he speaks about a dhira. A dhira is one who is not disturbed by material illusion. So he says, no one can be undisturbed unless he is perfectly spiritually realized, at which time one neither hankers or nor laments for anything. So he is bringing up the theme that who can teach about spiritual subject matter? Actually the dhiras can teach this way. The dhiras have come to know all these facts by hearing them from superior authorities, and thus have realized this knowledge by following the regulative principles. So dhiras have themselves heard from superior authorities, they have followed the principles, and that's why they can give this knowledge. So how can one become dhira? One can become a dhira only by submissively hearing from a bona fide spiritual master. So this is the last point that he is making. One can become a dhira by submissively taking this process, hearing from spiritual master, and then one can give this knowledge of spiritual life to others. All right. So that is mantra 10. So it's not a very major discussion. It is basically only two themes. Vidya leads to the desirable qualities. Avidya leads to the undesirable qualities. That's all. This way. And then this is the last verse now. We will see this and then we will stop. Mantra 11. Vidyam cha yas tadvedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrutyum tirtva vidyaya mritam ashnute. Yes, please read. Yes, read.
Only one who can learn the process of science and that of the transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
Yeah. So now last verse, what is it telling? You have to simultaneously cultivate knowledge of Vidya and Avidya both. So you see now there is a different meaning again of Vidya and Avidya. It is telling you that Vidya, Avidya, Veda Ubhayam Saha. And together you know Vidya also, you know Avidya. Then what will you do? By Avidya you will transcend the Mrityu, the material world, and by Vidya you will attain the immortality. It is saying like this. So what is this Vidya and Avidya? So you see it is spoken here. See, knowledge for bodily maintenance or knowledge to live in this world, that is spoken by the word Avidya here. And then Vidya is spiritual knowledge. Like you tell me how to live in this world, how to maintain our body, bodily maintenance, how to do it. Is that knowledge needed while we stay in this world or not needed?
Yes,
it is needed, right? If we don't know how to, maintain ourselves in this world, how the material world works, so it is going to be a difficulty in working in this world, right? So that's why knowledge for bodily maintenance, that is what is meant by Avidya over here. Varnashrama, basically Varnashrama, that's what is being there. So Varnashrama knowledge is important or not? It is important. If you want to stay in this world, then one should know Varna Ashrama. Sometimes we see, right, if somebody is confused in which ashram he should be. Should I be a grahastha or brahmachari? So everything gets affected then. Or somebody who is confused, what education I should take? Should I take engineering? Should I take medical? Should I take something else? Full confusion, like that. So you need a proper guidance and knowledge of this Avidya aspect. Why is it being called Avidya? Because it is for bodily maintenance. That's why it is being called Avidya. So the Upanishad is saying, if you have this knowledge, then you can very nicely cross this world by executing your duties in such a way that they don't become cause of disturbance for you. Right? See, sometimes like one of my friends, I remember, he never had a brain for a coder. So, but then because of this whole propaganda, you have to be a developer, at least in my days. Now it's AI probably or something else. So then he joined that, and he did not have that, whatever that basic intelligence required, although he was a very nice devotee. So getting into that industry where you don't have the skill, it became so miserable affair for him. His family and all those factors fell apart because, he would spend 14, 18, 20 hours in the work. He can't manage it, this whole pressure and all that. So then, his wife became so upset with him. Children started saying that he doesn't give time and all that. And this whole thing, you see, because of not being placed in proper element, like that. So finally, when he understood this situation and when changed his field, he came into teaching. So that also was a struggle. But then the whole thing became okay. So this was after going through that horrible, difficult phase like that. So you need a certain level of material knowledge to live in this world. Ability, knowledge. That's why Varnashram is there. Varnashram is not there, then everybody is running for students. They are given one goal, right? Everybody is running behind that. So we don't recognize somebody has Vaishya nature, somebody has Kshatriya nature, somebody has Brahmana nature. Nothing. Just one unidimensional idea of success. Kya hai success? Success is when you get in IIT. Success is when you get into foreign university or like that. Success is when you go to, this particular level, something like that. So this is actually not understanding that avidya principle here, knowledge for bodily maintenance. So if that is lacking, it will affect your spiritual life also. So a certain level of that understanding is needed. Don't see, we are not transcendental. When we are sadhakas, we are not transcendental. That we will feel, Hare, no problem. Bhagavan, Krishna is in control. Hare Krishna. You see that when he will start facing financial problem and all, then he will remember something else. So what we are saying is we can be detached, but detachment is after you have been responsible. Detachment is not with irresponsibility. So you are irresponsible and then you say, I am detached. That's not. First we show responsibility, and in spite of that things don't work or like that, then you will be detached. Like that. तो जिम्मेदारी के बाद वैराग्य की बातें होती है, जिम्मेदारी के पहले नहीं होती. So this is how the Upanishad is saying that we need this knowledge for the bodily maintenance, and by that one will be able to live in this life. Mrityum tirtva, one be able to cross over the death, and then Vidyaya amritam ashnute, the vidya, the spiritual knowledge, bhakti, it will give us the immortality. So this was, I think, this was the motto of the school, NCRT, right? Vidyaya amritam ashnute, I think. Yes, they say that Vidya leads to immortality, but what they are teaching there, NCRT, what they are teaching is different, but they say Vidyaya amritam ashnute, right? Sometimes they use these LIC, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. LIC is running your Yoga Kshema. Who is actually doing Yoga Kshema? Krishna, right? But they will say, we are the ones. Yoga Kshema. Whatever yoga means, whatever you have earned, it will stay. Kshema means yoga. Kshema means whatever you need will be provided. Like that. So amazing. This way. So all right, let's see. So you see, Prabhupada, Amritam Ashnute, how immortality is not possible materially. For example, Hiranyakashipu, he talks about Hiranyakashipu. Immortality possible only by following Krishna's teaching. So two themes he is talking here. One is how you can achieve immortality, and second is how you cannot achieve immortality. And this is basically the theme over here in the entire purport. We are taking it a bit fast, but basically you can go through this slide later and you can see paragraph wise. These are the themes that Prabhupada speaks. So you can see now here, Prabhupada first speaks that immortality is not possible by some materialistic arrangement, and straight away he speaks about Hiranyakashipu, right? Hiranyakashipu, he was very advanced materially, but could he achieve immortality? No, right? He asked so many benedictions. He thought that he is most intelligent person, but then Lord is so intelligent that keeping all his conditions intact, still he was killed. Hiranyakashipu, what does the word mean? Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means soft bed. So he was only interested in money and sensual enjoyment. That's all. So that's why he was known as Hiranyakashipu. And his brother was also appropriate, samarpak tha ekdam. Hiranyaksha. Everywhere he would see gold. You know, Hiranyaksha. He would just search gold. Kidhar hai gold, 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 gold. That's why he was known as Hiranyaksha. Paisa. Right? Like that. So that's why these were very fit brothers. Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. And Prabhupada says that the whole point here is that even Hiranyakashipu, the most powerful of materialists, could not become deathless by his various plan. What then can be accomplished by the tiny Hiranyakashipus of today? Small Hiranyakashipus whose plans are thwarted from moment to moment. So by material arrangement you cannot become immortal. Even Ravana wanted that. Ravana wanted to become immortal. And then, he was going around conquering people and all that. And then he came across Narad Muni. So he thought, ye Narad, isko bhi thoda maza chakhata hu. So for Narad Muni, he said, hey Narad, ruko. Where are you going? So Narad Muni said, Narayan, I'm going, to glorify the Supreme Lord. No. He said, I'm conquering everyone. I will conquer you also. So he took his arrows and started hitting Narada. But when the arrows were passing to Narada's body, zoop, the arrows were passing through his body, nothing was happening to Narada. So Ravana got amazed, what is happening? Narada's body I am not able to hurt. So he said, so demons have the nature, if they see somebody very powerful, then they become friends with him. So he wanted to kill Narada, but as soon as he saw that he cannot kill Narada, he said, Narad Muni, you are my friend actually. Can you tell me how you got this body? So Narad Muni said, you want this body? Yes, actually I want this body. I also want to be immortal like you. So Narad Muni said, then you have to chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Narad Muni said, you have to chant Narayana's name like that. So then he said, Narayana's name, forget it. Then I don't want body, go get lost, So he wanted immortality but wanted materially. It is impossible. Hiranyakashipu or all of them. So what is the process then? How we can? The process is, one, goes through the scriptures, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the process. That helps us how to achieve immortality. So those are two contrasts that Prabhupada is making. Immortality possible only by following Krishna's teachings. This way. So that's why Krishna comes actually. He comes to, he himself comes, he sends his devotees so that we can join him immortally, in immortality in the spiritual world. So this is the point. Finally, Prabhupada speaks about this aspect of avidyaya mrityum tirtva. He speaks that how it is important. So you see, human activities diseased by a tendency towards sense gratification have been regulated in the Vedas under principles of salvation. So this system employs religion, economic development, sense gratification, salvation. But at the present moment, people have no interest in religion or salvation. So Prabhupada brings up this idea that dharma, artha, kama, moksha, it can be taken care if we follow aspects of varnashrama and all. Then one can do that also, and then also attain finally the immortality, meaning go back home, back to Godhead. So both the aspects. So that knowledge is needed actually. You see, a man should lead a healthy life with a sound mind just to realize vidya, true knowledge, which is the aim of human life. This life is not meant for working like an ass or for culturing avidya for sense gratification. So basically if you go through these paragraphs, he says we need both. We need how to survive in this world, and we also need the knowledge how to transcend this world. So if both the knowledges are there, then one can achieve the immortality like that. The guaranteed path to the aim of Vidya is described by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The culture of Vidya is summarized in Srimad Bhagavatam. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan satvatam pati shrotavya kirtitavyascha dheya pujyascha nityada. So this is Vidya, this is Krishna consciousness, while knowledge of Varnashrama is avidya over here. Alright, so that was it. Alright, let's pause here. Shri Ishopanishad ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you all very much for this very attentive listening that you did for so many days, and I'm very, very grateful actually for this whole opportunity that was given to me by Brajaprakash Prabhu and Yashobati Nandan Prabhu and all the Kuwait management, that I could come here and we could have on-site. 2 more sessions we will complete this course, this unit module. So, but yes, tomorrow I have last day here where I'm giving Rama Katha. So this happens to be the last session today's session for on-site. So in all these days, I was amazed by your attentive listening, participation, enthusiasm, attendance, full house.